Fear exists nowhere except in the mind. And that simple idea is not just a quote, it is the starting point for understanding why so many people stay invisible even when they are talented. Stop for a moment. Breathe. Because what you are about to hear is not only about speaking better, it is about being heard, respected, and followed. There is a quiet, almost invisible skill that separates people who merely talk from people who influence, lead rooms, and become a reference wherever they go. And the strange part is this: it has nothing to do with how many degrees you have, how many books you have read, or how many followers you can collect. It has everything to do with communication. In 1937, Napoleon Hill traveled the world and interviewed more than 500 millionaires, people who started with nothing and built empires. He was not looking for mystical secrets, he was searching for patterns. And what he found was shockingly simple. These people were not necessarily smarter than everyone else. They were not always luckier. Most of them were not born into power. But they shared one common trait: they could communicate with impact. While you listen to my voice right now, your brain is already evaluating. In a handful of seconds, you decide whether to trust a voice, whether to lean in, or whether to tune out. This is not opinion, it is biology. First impressions form fast, and those impressions can carry more weight than your resume, your experience, or your achievements. That is why so many opportunities are lost in silence, not because someone was incapable, but because someone failed to transmit competence. Think about it. How many times did you know the right answer, but no one listened? How many times were you prepared, but your presence was weak? How many doors stayed closed not because you lacked value, but because you could not make people feel it? Here is the uncomfortable truth. In the real world, knowing is not enough. You must make the world aware that you know. And this is where everything begins. Communication is not a gift reserved for a few, it is a skill that can be trained. Your voice speaks before your words. Your rhythm, your pauses, your tone, your energy. Those signals reach a listener's nervous system before your message does. This is why some people walk into a room and instantly gain attention, and others begin speaking and the room mentally leaves. Research has shown that people make trust decisions extremely fast, sometimes before a sentence is complete. And that means your first seconds matter more than your first arguments. Even the most successful people had to learn this. Warren Buffett, one of the most respected voices in the financial world, struggled with intense fear of public speaking when he was young. He did not become powerful because he was naturally fearless. He became powerful because he trained. This matters for you because it proves something. Confidence is not a personality, it is a process. Let's make this practical right now. Take a slow breath in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds. Release for 6 seconds. Notice what changed. Your voice becomes steadier, your face relaxes, your mind slows down. That is not motivation, that is nervous system regulation. A stable voice is not only about sounding good. A stable voice signals safety, and safety is what makes people listen. But voice is only the first layer, because powerful communication is not about speaking beautifully. It is about making people feel something. True leaders do not speak to inform, they speak to transform. If you want to be persuasive, you need to understand one principle. People rarely move because they received information. They move because they experienced meaning. This is where psychology enters. There is a rhythm the brain responds to. When your speech matches a natural human rhythm, something changes. The listener stops resisting. They stop scanning for distractions. They begin synchronizing with you. And you can create this without being dramatic, without being loud, without being fake. 3 tools change everything. First, tone variation. When your tone has movement, the brain stays awake. When your tone is flat, the brain predicts and then disengages. Second, intentional pauses. A pause is not empty. A pause is pressure. It creates tension. It creates expectation. And expectation pulls attention forward. Third, human rhythm. When you speak at the pace of breathing, you create alignment. It feels natural, it feels safe, it feels like connection. Here is a story that proves it. Imagine you have to speak to a room of high-level executives, people who have heard every presentation, people who are always one message away from leaving. You start speaking, and you can feel the skepticism. Now you change one thing. You slow down, you vary your tone, you pause at the exact moment your point lands. Suddenly, phones stay down, eyes stay up, time disappears. And someone says afterward, "I cannot explain it, but it felt hypnotic." That is not magic, that is nervous system influence. Now the next principle might offend your ego, but it will save your life. If you want to sound intelligent, stop trying to sound intelligent. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that intelligence is proven through complex vocabulary. It is not. Complexity often signals insecurity. When people do not understand you, they do not trust you. When they do not trust you, they do not follow you. And when they do not follow you, you lose. Steve Jobs understood this better than almost anyone. He built revolutionary products, but he never spoke like an engineer. He spoke like a human. He could explain advanced technology as if he were speaking to a 10-year-old, not because he was simplifying the truth, but because he understood the truth so deeply that he could translate it. Einstein captured the same idea. If you cannot explain something simply, you do not understand it well enough. So here's a test you can use. Before you speak, ask yourself, would a 10-year-old understand what I am about to say? If yes, you are clear. If no, refine, translate, simplify. Clarity is not weakness. Clarity is power. Because clarity sells. Clarity connects. Clarity opens doors. Now, let's go deeper. Persuasive communication has an invisible structure, not mystery, not talent, structure. A simple formula that works across presentations, meetings, interviews, and even personal conversations. Step 1. Open curiosity. Give the mind a reason to lean forward. Step 2. Deliver real value. Make the listener feel that staying with you is worth it. Step 3. Invite action. Not pressure, invitation, a clear next step. Curiosity, value, invitation. This aligns with a cognitive pattern that the brain loves, the rule of 3. The brain processes better in groups of 3. It remembers better, it decides faster. That is why so many memorable phrases come in 3s. Fast, simple, effective. Time, money, freedom. Courage, focus, discipline. When you speak in 3s, you become easier to follow and easier to remember. But there's one element that outruns every technique: your story. Data informs, stories transform. You can have the perfect logic, the strongest argument, the cleanest slides, but if there's no emotion, your message evaporates. The brain does not bond with facts, it bonds with meaning. Your experiences, your failures, your wins, your truth. That is what creates connection, and connection is persuasion. Now, here is where most people collapse. Not in calm moments, not when everything is controlled. They collapse under pressure. The real test of communication is not how you speak when you feel safe. It is how you speak when chaos enters the room, when money is on the line, when reputation is at risk, when someone is angry, when you feel attacked. In those moments, the person who controls their state controls the room. Here is a principle that changes everything. In chaos, calm becomes authority. If everyone is loud, the quiet voice becomes the center. If everyone is reactive, the deliberate voice becomes leadership. And there is a simple tactic. Lower your voice, slow your words. Not to be passive, to be precise. The nervous system of the room will adjust to you because humans synchronize. Then ask one powerful question, not to defend yourself, to shift the frame. What exactly do you need to see in the next 48 hours to feel safe continuing this with us? A question like that does two things. It gives the other person control, and when people feel control, resistance drops. Now you are no longer in a fight, you are in collaboration. But there is one more layer: preparation. Your brain does not clearly distinguish between vivid imagination and real experience. That is why visualization works. Every night for 5 minutes, close your eyes. Imagine a difficult conversation, a confrontation, a high-stakes moment. See yourself breathing. See yourself calm. See yourself speaking slowly. See yourself asking the right question. When the real moment arrives, your brain will act like it has been there before. That is training. Now we arrive at the final principle, the principle that decides whether you are remembered or forgotten: emotional residue. After you speak, what do people feel? Do they feel clearer, more confident, more inspired, more connected? Or do they feel small, confused, judged, pressured? You can use the most sophisticated words. You can show charts and logic until the listener is exhausted. But if the person does not feel good with you, they will not want more of you. That is why authenticity matters. For years, many people try to copy the gestures, the tone, the posture of great speakers. They build a polished performance, and it looks good, but it feels empty, because people can feel when there is no soul. The shift happens when you stop performing and start expressing, when you stop trying to impress and start trying to serve. Because anyone can copy your content, your product, your ideas, but no one can copy your essence, your story, your worldview, your journey. That is your advantage. Napoleon Hill understood this nearly a century ago. He was not searching for a magic formula. He was studying how ordinary people become extraordinary. And what he found was clear. Success is not only strategy, it is relationship. And the quality of your relationships is directly linked to the quality of your communication. So if you want to grow, speak with clarity. If you want to lead, speak with truth. If you want to prosper, speak with intention. And more than that, live what you say. Because the most powerful communication in the world is communication that has integrity. Now let me leave you with one question. After you speak, what remains in people? Distrust or inspiration? Doubt or clarity? Indifference or the desire to walk with you? That invisible trail is what defines whether you will be followed, heard, or remembered. And here is your challenge. In the next important conversation you have, choose one sentence that matters. Deliver it slowly, and in the middle of it, pause for 3 seconds. It will feel strange at first, but that pause creates a gap, and the brain hates gaps. It leans forward to fill them. When you continue, attention will be yours. And now, if you made it this far, write one word in the comments. Not any word, a word that represents what you are choosing from today. Right, presence. Because presence is what turns an ordinary voice into a voice that cannot be ignored. Subscribe to The Inner Code if you want weekly tools to sharpen your mind, strengthen your communication, and build a life led by intention. Now go out there, speak with courage, speak with clarity, speak with presence, and show the world the power that already exists in your voice. For more content that truly improves your life, subscribe to this channel and watch new content every week.